But
no,
please
DefCon
tell
5.
the audience what DefCon 5 is.
So DefCon 5 was a military agency for film that was created by a man by the name of Ron Blecker. And I believe he won the Order of Canada. Also a gentleman by the name of Rob Fournier, two wonderful men. Now, these are one, Ron Blecker was a ex-US military, and Rob Fournier was from Canadian military. And
Okay.
whenever you see a movie in like the 2000 and in the early 2000s to 2000 to 2010, I guess, whenever you'd see like firemen or SWAT or military, it was always us, DEFCON 5, because they took us all and they showed us how to hold weapons, not to cover your face with the weapon. They always because this is bad, this is good. You know what I
Right.
mean? And we actually learned how to fire weapons. They gave us a criminal background check on all of us because we were on set with real weapons at times. Sometimes the weapons are replicas, but often we were using real, AR-15s and Glocks and things like that. So yeah, we were a military organization that for film, but we treated ourselves with And Rob Blecker was he was also an armorer, and he was no joke. He was a hard ass, and he taught us a
Well,
lot of discipline. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for the guy because he's taught me at least taught me so many things that I've carried forward discipline wise, as far as being on set and things, and just basic, you know, concentration and just awareness. So yeah, it's a fascinating. I'm so proud to be a part of DEFCON 5.
it
It's
sounds
no,
amazing.
yeah, it no longer is around, but it was we were the cat's ass.
Was this a common thing? Is this like common thing, like specialized groups that, like chefs in a kitchen for background scenes or movies, like that they actually know how to use and work the kitchen equipment? Or was this
No,
just
see,
somebody thought of it, it was a great idea and it worked for a while?
yeah, well, yeah, because they were from the military, and they could tell that, as you can see now, being a part of DEFCON 5, I can see him watch a movie, and I can tell that this person doesn't know how to handle a weapon. Cop uniforms were, sometimes really baggy, and like we were like legit as possible. We all like to take care of each other. If we saw a guy and his, some lace was sticking out, we had to check each other. We did.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very
So
tight. We were a very tight group.
I when I first heard about that, I was like, does anybody do anything like that now? Or are they
I,
just hiring whatever they can hire?
I think it's been a while, but I think there are enough people that have been doing it long enough now that there are guys that pretty much know how to. And there's courses now. There are on-set weapons courses and
Okay.
things like that people take. But back then there wasn't any of that. So. But no, there's not really much. I don't think there's much of a DEFCON 5 anymore.
Okay. So that would, I think I actually hard to believe, considering how many action movies and superhero, and that there's not a
X-Men,
dedicated,
yeah, yeah,
or even a dedicated group of survivors that are always on the city street and know how to run safely away from the camera.
yeah,
Something,
yeah,
like, because it's in every movie, might as well use the same people.
yeah.
The next steps in your life. So at this point, were you doing stunt work and camera, like regular role work?
Well,
Was
what I
this
was
mixed in
what
with DEFCON 5, or I
no,
just
no. What I was doing was DEFCON 5 was on special skills. It was still background. And then a few guys would transfer into stunts because the stunt coordinator would see that you're capable of certain things, and then he'd be giving out a resume to stunt coordinators constantly. They'll give you a job, and if they like you, he or she will hire you again. So I was with DEFCON 5, then I got into stunts, and then I started doing stunt acting, which is acting and fighting, so to speak. You know what I mean?
okay.
The but that was a niche area because if you're a stunt actor and you get hurt and you're one of the leads, then people are going to lose money, so they tried to keep those two separate. There are still, I was one of the fortunate stunt actors. There's another gentleman by the name of Mike Doput, who was a good friend of mine, and he was a stunt actor as well. But it wasn't very common. It wasn't very common that a stunt guy would act. And then I got more into acting because I just my roles got bigger. I started doing guest star and things like that, and then they would bring in a stunt guy because if I got hurt, then it would be a big issue for not only
Right.
myself but
Continuity of this.
production. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like when I step out on a set, there's about 45 people who have already arranged for me to do my thing, catering, lighting people,
Right.
sound, hair, makeup. So it's a big,
Blocking.
yeah,
Everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So was this the point about, because the way I know your face, and whenever I first saw your card, I'm like, I know this guy. I've seen, like, I knew your face, and it was Stargate.
Okay.
Was this about that time where you're doing DefCon 5 and stunt acting?
That was exactly the time. That was one of my first big gigs was Stargate SG-1, and it was hired by Peter DeLuise.
Amazing guy from what I hear.
Yeah, fantastic guy. Yeah, fantastic guy. Yeah, that was around that time. That's you're right on.
Okay, cool. It's like as soon then I didn't realize that, and I went through the episodes. I'm like, I remember him there. I like you're near enough to me. You're SGU. You could be at the booth at the con signing stuff. Like you're definitely
SG-1.
You killed an Unis, but that's okay. That's fine.
That was around the time, and it was working on Stargate was a lot of fun because I did background stunts acting. It supplied a lot of us Canadian actors. Well, actors in Vancouver, a lot of work. So I have a lot of love for Stargate SG-1.
I think the show's still fun today. Honestly, every once in a while, I'll just find a random episode and play it. I'm like, that's good. And
sideways flushing toilet. I mean, who has that anymore? Stargate.
It's only Stargate. I still like the special effect for it too. It looks possibly better than Doctor Who. It's the same tunnel through the thing after you go through it. I think Stargates might look a little better.
Yeah, no, working on that show too. They had this big set for the actual Stargate itself, and it was just as fascinating to us doing background that like that's the Stargate. Like so, we take photos with it, and like it was a really cool show to be on. Really great. Good show.
What was your favorite stunt that you've performed like to date? Like the one you remember and you could watch over again and just like and enjoy?
That's a good question as well. I'm not sure. Let's see. Probably something driving. I've done some stunts. Can't remember what show, but I remember I had rolled a vehicle on its roof one time, which was scary, and I didn't realize how loud that sound is in your head when you're upside down in a vehicle. But
it's a sound you hope never to hear.
Yes. But what did I do? I did I did a lot of doubling too. I used to double. I doubled Cuba Gooding Jr. I doubled.
I could see it. Yeah.
I coupled a guy by the name of John Marshall Jones in a show called John Doe. I doubled a few actors as well. But I was not really more of the specific stunt. I was again stunt acting. There are stunt people who do stunts, and they'll jump off of buildings. I mean, I did a building fall one time, but it's not. I could tell. No, I don't want to be doing this too much longer. So, it's more.
As a kid, always wondered.
Yeah.
Wait, could I do that?
It's still scary. Yeah. The stunt people are like the really serious stunt people. They do some very intricate stunts, and there is a high risk of injury. And when one of our people do get injured, it does really. We all pull together to rally around that individual because safety first.
they give themselves to the product, like literally
They
give
do.
themselves to
They-
the project.
yeah, one thing I wanted to I might have in my next festival is eventually it's a stunt category, because my argument is like, you pick a movie, I guarantee you the movie is driven by the trailer is driven by stunts. You watch any
Yes.
movie trailer, it's the stunt people are the ones that are selling that movie, the action. Right. So I think one of the categories I'd like to
Yeah.
have in this festival is it would be a stunt category.
Well, in the 70s, there were movies about the stuntmen. You know,
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds
Me.
on, including like his actual stuntman, and like it was a
Yep.
thing. And I don't know why it went away because, and
Fall
also
Guy. Remember the series, The
Fall Guy,
Fall Guy
yeah,
with Lee
and
Majors?
the
Yeah.
Fall Guy movie just came out again. So hopefully, people recognize these people that make our pictures way more interesting than they could be in a lot of cases.
Yeah. It's a tough gig being doing stunts and stuff. Because when I did a movie called Warcraft,
Yeah,
and I was riding horses in the movie. I was I got killed at the end of the movie. This orc by the name of Black Hand picked me up and just popped my head off. But I had to get lifted up, on cables and things like that. But the stunt people there, I had a stunt double, and yeah, I some of the stuff I saw him do, I was like, man, that's thank you.
glad I'm not doing. Thank you. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Uh, the one question I did have, you said you grew up watching a lot of TV. We
Yes.
covered that, and now you're moving on to doing big things in front of lots of audiences with a lot of known people. Have you been to that point where somebody you always wanted to meet as a kid is now somebody you're working with daily? And if so, what was that like?
Well, I did a movie called Tron, and Tron Legacy,
Yeah.
and in that movie, I think it was 3 or 4 days. I had scenes with Jeff Bridges, and if I had really, because I'm a big fan of Jeff Bridges, they say don't meet your heroes because sometimes the person you meet is just like there's some actors I've met that I'm like, wow, geez, that's not what I heard. you know,
I know the feeling. It's
yeah.
happened.
I heard you were, pretty decent. But anyway, you meet someone on a bad day for whatever, I don't know. But
It
meeting
happens.
Jeff Bridges, he was everything and more that I wished he could be. He was funny. He treated, I was a cyborg, I believe, or a program in Tron. I had
Right.
like, armor and stuff like that. We had a few scenes, and he was just, I didn't really realize what was happening until 5 days after the filming. I was like, I just worked with Jeff effing Bridges, and he was cool.
Thank you for being the first actor to be honest about that.
Oh, good. Yeah. No.
I kept it professional and I didn't think too much about it. No, because
You know
I don't know
what?
how you can. Yeah, like
I'm
you
gonna
keep it
tell you.
professional in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. Uh, as an actor, you're freaked out all the time. You're nervous. You don't know where your next job is coming from. When you look at the calendar, sometimes you have all the okay, your phone now. There's some you see all your previous dates or dates in the future. Sometimes you see none. I don't really know of any actor who's I got asked this question the other day. Um, in an interview, I got asked, so what is it like to be a successful actor? And you may have seen this interview, I don't know. But
Not that
and that's
question.
a
No.
question that's a question every actor wants to get asked. So, but when I got asked it, I was like, ooh, I'm not ready. I don't, because you know what I mean? You don't think like, ooh, what are you trying to do to me here? So I said, I could see I was a little not prepared for it. So he said, okay, with an actor who has had some success, a successful actor, what is your idea of success? And I said, my idea of success is creating opportunities for people within my industry, because that's exactly what I'm doing now.
Beautiful.
And I didn't realize that until he asked me that question, because with the Hollywood North International Film Festival, where, all of those judges are people I've personally worked with in the past and said to myself, oh, I'd like to work with him or her again. And that's not the case with every actor, and these are actors directors, producers, cinematographers, and animators. So I was able to compile a very talented panel of judges from my experiences in the past. I thought maybe working with them again, I'd be booked on another movie or something like that. But fortunately, I was the one able to facilitate that, and it felt amazing.
Right.
So yeah. So
That's I forget where we started on that, but I did like you blew me away with that, like the line about what success is. And I can tell you as a person who interviews, I never want to ask that question because I feel like everybody I'm talking to is a success. And I don't want to like, but you're not an A-list. Like that just seems
yeah.
like you've done amazing things. I've never come close to that. You were a success. Like, so maybe I
Well,
should ask it, I guess.
thank you.
No?
No, I mean, but I mean, when you get in my opinion, actors, I get asked questions. Well, you just it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, and all that bull. Like, we're vulnerable, we're nervous, we don't know if we're screwing up sometimes. When the director is maybe dealing with some issue that has nothing to do with us, we're wondering, okay, what's going on? Like, no, we're freaked out, and we're just as vulnerable as anybody else, even sometimes even more, because we have to stand on the mark and make it look like I have to make it look like I know what to do with my hands.
You know what you're doing, yeah.
On action. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
And then
it's
repeat
not
it 20 times exactly the same way because somebody else has to get
yeah.
theirs fixed. Yeah.
You ever heard of semantic satiation?
No.
It's like if I say rhubarb 15 times, all of a sudden
means nothing.
Rhubarb, like it loses its meaning. So sometimes sometimes they'll do it take 10, 15 times, and then it's like you don't even know where sometimes am I in the beginning of the speech or in the middle, or like, so it can. And another thing on being on set is, for example, when I worked on what was it? For instance, some show I worked on for 2 weeks. That was one scene, one moment in time. So I'm wearing the same clothes for 2 weeks, pretty much standing in the same kind of. I couldn't. Sometimes it's hard to remember what day. Like, what day is it? Like, because everything's the same. Everything's the same around you. So it is a very interesting profession to be in, and it is not for everybody, but I love it because I get to, I feel like I'm maybe from another planet or something. I'm like, oh, this is, I'm showing you Earthlings how you do. Well, this is what you do when you eat pizza. I love pizza. This is what you do when you're lying. This is how you look when you're
right.
When you're being sneaky. Like all these little fun things. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. But it's just it's not sitting there and just talking.
I
It's
think a
not
lot of
that.
the skill in acting is dealing with the process of being recorded. And until you said something about the repetition and words losing meaning, I've always wondered, especially when I was younger, why actors, whenever they even watch, like do a watch along of something that they've done, like an actor is watching an old Brady Bunch episode they were in, they have no specific memories of it. Like in your life, you do something and you have a specific memory of, I leaned on the pole, the sun was bright in the window. But actors seem to very rarely have those moments of at that moment, because they're repeating it so often that it means nothing. Like they don't know what take it was, or even what day that take was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the day they had a really good bagel. Maybe.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't tell what take that is, if that was day one or day two. Plus, when you're reacting to inanimate objects and things that aren't realistic, that aren't real, those are not real reactions. But if somebody threw a ball at me, I'd remember that because I really reacted, so I didn't get hit. But saying lines and things like that, it is an interest, like to intake a lot of that dialogue and make it flow, make it work. It is stressful, but it's very rewarding when you do. When you pull something off nice, and if they packaged it nicely, and then when you watch the product, it can be very, very, very rewarding.
Have a great one. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Be safe out there. Treat each other well.